kind of relationship with both of them. But damn, my ex, I don't have that feeling for him.
I don't know.
And maybe one day I will, but like at this point in time,
each relationship's unique to itself, you know, because each person's got their own personality. I really don't think it's anything. Kids and stuff is a part of it. I really think so. Like, I've had really significant people in my life that I've had a relationship with that we've not had kids together, but nothing's ever touched what we had or anything. But it wasn't that bad between us because we didn't have kids. It was a year-long relationship. We were young, we moved on, but that was the most impactful first love I ever felt, and nothing else touched that. Like, that's just, you know, there was no kids, so it was just beautiful, and I can leave it there, and we can be now, like, in touch on LinkedIn and be like, how are you doing? How are your kids? Everything's great, you know?
But I don't. Is it that way you have kids? Is like it makes it so much more intense.
That's a big. That's a big. That's
a big deal.
I really think so. That's the whole reason why I think this whole podcast. Like, if there was no kids here between us, and we were just like two single girls talking.
The fact of the matter is that, and I've always said this, is that my kids have made me a better person.
Of course.
You know, like there's like, if you're doing it right, when you have kids, you don't make decisions based on what I want. You make decisions based on what's best for them.
That's exactly.
And if I'm doing that, it's going to be best for me. Like, inevitably, long term, it's going to be best for me. So,
and I think the guys we meet before the kids, we didn't feel that they were ready or they were the right ones. And the ones when we had kids with them, at that moment, we felt they were the good enough guys to have kids with. And if we were a little wrong, we didn't, like we say, looking back, we didn't have the maturity to look into that too deeply at the beginning. But we felt enough intuition to think that they were a good enough dad. And then we had kids with them, and we found out later that they were terrible husbands or whatever, you know, and
again, we come back to, you make the decisions,
right?
You make decisions based on the information that you have at the moment that the decision needs to be made, and
at the time that you have with the tools that you have,
right?
You do the best that you could do at that time.
And sometimes the puzzle pieces fit, and sometimes like you look back and you're like.
And the older we get, the more mature we get. And if only we could take our wise minds and our date, like today, and give them to our 20-something-year-old minds and say, know what we know now and make a different decision. Take it slower. Like, do it differently. Love this person. There's nothing wrong loving this person, but take it slower. Do this before you have kids together, because once you have kids together, it's a whole nother level. I feel like that's the truth. Like, everyone I've met that's been divorced is difficult, but doing it, parenting, like kids involved, it's a whole different level. It's one thing to becoming one and splitting, like I was talking about, but when there's kids involved, like, add like 1,000 layers to that, and then it's like pain times 10 on each side.
You know, and exactly, and you have young kids, and I can't even I've said a couple times, I didn't have the fortitude in me to be able to do what you did.
Right.
When it comes to kids, it's not. I'm not going to say it's easier or not easier. Like, it's just it's an experience for older kids. Like, older kids feel like they want mom and dad just to be happy.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yep. Not when they're young, they don't get it. They're just like...
They just want people to be happy.
Yeah.
But at this very same time, they're struggling with the idea that my mom and my dad don't love each other anymore. Or my mom and my dad, my dad is bringing... My daughter is talking about getting married next year.
Yeah.
Right? And we're talking about the guest list. You know, that this is a thing.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, like, this is your wedding. I want it to be your wedding. I want it to be the best experience that you're going to have. Like, I'm not going to interfere with it whatsoever. But at the same moment, I'm going to be completely and totally honest. If your dad shows up with that bitch, it's going to fuck up my experience of my daughter's wedding.
Absolutely.
And this is your wedding. This is totally your wedding.
And if he did that, that would be wedding. So wrong. I think without talking to you about it first, like, just showing up with her, like you guys could talk about that. He could ask your opinion.
But it's not just her wedding. It's my wedding, in a way. Like, she's my baby.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
it's like I dreamed of my wedding.
You think it that way, but he doesn't. He's a man.
I'm dreaming, you know, so, but it puts my daughter in this very precarious position where, you know, like, what does she say? You know, like, and I don't want her to have to do that.
Right.
You know, it's very complex.
Yeah.
It's very complex. I don't want to put that on her.
Right.
But at the same time, fuck that. That would be horrible. That would be horrible to experience my daughter's wedding with him and this woman there. I don't want that to happen. But it's really not. It's not up to me because it's not really my wedding.
Is it invite plus guest? Then they technically get to invite whoever, and so do you. And,
I'm not gonna, you know, like.
But you're right. You're right. You don't want.
I'm not gonna put that on her.
Right.
You know, like I want to tell her that. I want to tell her like your dad does not get a +1.
Right.
I want to tell her that, but
but you don't want to make that
undue pressure on her at a point in time. You know, so it's those dynamics.
Right. That's a unique first. Mm-hmm. Like anyone else that's that has grown kids. Like, how do we get through the first kid's wedding like this? Like, that's something I've not had to do. Well, with
and another, you know, like the reality of the divorce and another woman being involved is, you know, like I lived my whole life like planning, like at this point in my life I should be like sliding into home base and enjoying the fruits of my labor and blah, blah, blah. And that's not going to happen now. Like now I'm like starting all over. I'm fully 100% financially responsible for myself, and I'm dating again. This is the shit that happens when you're in your 20s.
That's like 50-year-olds winning.
Is it winning?
Yes.
It feels like such a
like Tina Turner, like special. Like she met the love of her life in her 60s after being with an abusive fucking douchebag like Ike Turner.
I know that those stories exist.
I know.
And it's really hard to
embrace
to embrace it, right? When
that's because you're in your first year. I want to say that, like, even though I'm maybe a few years younger than you, I still felt the same. Like for me, I'm thinking, okay, I was separated at 34. I'm now available and really ready to date at 40, and I still have 3 young. Like, that's like a good push on my middle years, just take it away. Like, and now I'm going to be starting dating in my later years. Like, I hear you. I feel the same. Like, I can still date right now, but it's still not the same. I don't really want to date properly until my kids are grown. It's too much for them. It's too much for them.
That is definitely a plus that I have.
That you don't have to deal with. Right. Exactly. So think of it this way. I'll be in the same boat as you eventually, because really by the time my kids are grown and in college and stuff, they're your kids' age. I'm going to be your age. And then I'm going to be like, finally I can date right now. I feel the same fear. Like, how can I really date dudes? Am I giving my kids the life they deserve and the safety they desire by dating right now? Not really. I'm right there with you, just behind you in that sense. I might be ahead of you in terms of the years I've separated, but I'm behind you, and I'm going to be right there too. Like, damn it. I'm trying to date my 50s. Like, now my kids are grown, that's when I can comfortably date. And that's okay. That's
and
just
then all the guys are going to be in their 50s.
Or go right back to their 40s.
Like, oh.
I know. So, you know.
Okay, so I was sharing my
age ain't nothing but number.
My angst with my counselor about, you know, like the whole surgery thing and blah, blah, blah. And, like, I should have somebody, you know, like I should have my husband and my loyal and she reminded, so she's a Lutheran pastor for like 25 years, and she's been a family counselor for like 35 years.
Cool.
She's like, I have a unique perspective. My perspective is that because I was sharing with her that I was feeling very, very pissy that like I should be sliding into home base now and enjoying the fruits of my labor, and she's like, people don't do that. And she's like trust me.
Yeah,
I've been a pastor for this many years. I've been.
Don't think the grass is greener.
She's like, I hear things that people don't hear.
Yeah,
and she said, I'm going to tell you, there is not one couple in their 60s or in their 70s that have not compromised and self-sacrificed and given up their self-respect. And
absolutely.
Like you don't make it there without compromising
massive
a lot.
Sacrifice.
Without massive sacrifice.
Yeah.
And she reminded me that she's like, you could have that.
But
like,
then you'd be kind of miserable.
But
I don't envy that.
Yeah, exactly. And and my twisted ex, even though he's been seeing this person for 18 months, he's still sending me, sweet and loving messages, and to me it's just offensive because like seeing somebody else and first of all it's offensive to me because of that, and second of all it's offensive to me because you're being a horrible person to her. Yeah. And like that, so, but she's like, my counselor says, if you are able to just set that all aside. Yeah. And accept the fact that he may have this female that he maintains a friendship with for the rest of his life. You guys could be a functional couple. And like, are you willing to do that? I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not willing to do that. I want to be in a relationship with somebody who cherishes me. And I want to feel the same about that person. I want whomever it is that I give the rest of my life to value the fact that I don't have a whole lot of years left, and if I'm giving them to you,
you're a lucky motherfucker.
Like you're lucky, and vice versa, right? It's like I'm not old, no, but I'm feeling my mortality.
Because we're all getting there one day, and we get closer, and we get a realistic reality check. Yeah. And it's like, what are we wasting our later years on?
Yeah. I was like, I want to be in a relationship with somebody that I feel safe. Yeah. I can be vulnerable with, and that I can act like a 20-year-old when I feel like acting like a 20-year-old, and I'm not a slut for doing it. Right. I just want to experience. I just want to live unencumbered by. I want that guy that looks at me and says, "Damn, that's my girl." Says, Damn, that's my girl.
Let me just pick her up off the floor real quick. Yeah. Come on, baby, let's get her off the floor. Let's get you home. That's my girl. Yeah. I love it. No, I hear you.
Yeah, and that guy is out there. I know he's out there. I'm dating with somebody right now, and I don't know. Maybe that's the guy. I don't know. I'm
that's
feeling
the guy you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm dating a guy. I'm not like all a Twitter about him,
which is a bad sign if you are, because
that's what my counselor says. Yes. My counselor says that a good relationship is not gonna be like butterflies and fireworks.
Nope, not at the beginning. Nope.
At the beginning, you're gonna get to know each other.
They call that the attraction of deprivation. Yeah. And then the attraction of admiration is the one that comes over time, and then you like can't keep your hands off them because you've developed such a deeper attraction. So give it time, see.
Mm-hmm.
But
who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But if not, like, you get to put him aside and know that there was a guy out there that really wanted you.
Right now, I'm just practicing letting somebody be nice to me.
Yeah.
It's been a really long time.
Yeah, right. I hear you on that.
I feel a little conflicted because he seems to be a lot more into me than I feel like I'm into him. But I don't know. Maybe it'll change in time. I don't know. Who knows?
One thing I've learned now is even in those scenarios, like, they can be nice as pie to you, and they really can be genuine and great people, but they can still fuck you over too. I mean, meaning like, what I mean is like, everyone has something wrong with them, or something that's not perfect.
Yeah,
right.
Nobody's perfect.
That's what I mean. Like, not to be so jaded, but like, even like, I've been dating a really great guy, and even there's been times I'm like, whoa. Wait, you can be a dick too? Okay. You are a male. Okay, let me not forget that. No offense, man out there, but in genuine, like, humans are still humans, you know? I think there's nothing wrong with us chasing that desire of that really, like, that person for me. But if I've been trying to tell myself to rinse myself of the Disney glasses that I'm looking for freaking Prince Charming, that I've met a really great guy who seems like Prince Charming, but he's still going to do things wrong. He's still going to fuck up. He's still got problems too. You know, I just have to get myself healthy and just rely on God to bring the right person at the right time and help us work through things, conflict, problems that we deal with in the most healthy way, and be stronger for it, because we're still going to have problems. I still might not like the way he speaks to me or what he doesn't